this caught my eye on Twitter. Gavin Newsom sat down with Sean Hannity, and they got into a back and forth about economic policy. And Gavin Newsom thought it good to bring up the fact that about 70% of the GDP in this country resides in blue counties, which to me is a way of basically admitting that the liberal class has extracted immense wealth from middle America. Why you think bragging about that on conservative TV is a good look, I don't know. But let's take a look at this interaction here.
On its way to be the fourth largest economy in the world. What are you arguing for? Mississippi's economic policy? Is that, I mean, literally, that's what you're arguing for.
Me, if I wanted
the great Sam Brownback's Kansas policy, I mean, it was a debacle. No economic growth. 71% of the GDP in America are in blue counties.
I would
71% of the GDP in America are blue counties. Progressive policies.
Okay, that are paying high taxes. And
71% of the country's wealth. 7 of the top 10 dependents.
Hannity is such an idiot. Like, if you made this point to Tucker Carlson, he wouldn't come back.
He would
eviscerate you. He would eviscerate him. He wouldn't come back with the standard, and they're paying high taxes.
Well,
I mean, that's all,
why is that exactly? Why is that exactly?
Yeah, right.
Before NAFTA, I don't think the income was distributed that way, was it?
Right, exactly. He would throw it right back in his face. Hannity, all he knows is the standard right wing. But they pay high taxes. You know what I mean? Talk about how Fox News has just cut its own nuts off. You know what I mean? To put Hannity up against him, he doesn't make.
Well, it's an open question. Would Newsom have even sat down with Tucker?
I don't think so. No.
You know, he sat down with Hannity because he knows he's a fucking meatball that he can steamroll like this.
This guy who sips $500 glasses of wine at the French Laundry comes in and says, Mississippi? What, you're arguing for Mississippi? Come on. Don't you know rich people live on the coast? Yeah, they know that. They understand that very, very well. That's why they don't like you. It's not an own that you're rich and they're poor. That's kind of their beef with you.
Well, and you look at the distribution of wealth in these places. We covered that with Sabby. The most unequal places, the places with, amazingly, I mean, I think most of us don't know this. That's why I wanted to do that segment. The most regressive taxation is in the blue states.
Right.
You're the governor of California, man. It is South America over there in the inequality of wealth. You have enormous communities living in tents. San Francisco is like a borderline favela at this point. And you're up there bragging about the policies of blue states.
Right. And the GDP of blue counties, the GDP that blue counties hold. All right. Let's let him finish.
You're right.
States.
Let's say you.
No, we're subsidizing your states, Sean.
This sounds like presidential material here. We're subsidizing your states.
Well, this isn't for the Fox people. This is for in case Joe Biden has a heart attack. This is
but what I'm saying is
the libs love this shit.
They love it. But this is the opposite of a presidential message. This is the blue state governor's message. Our states are better than your states.
Well, you know what else it is? It's a classic.
Good luck winning Michigan with that.
It's a classic American message. If you have failed, it is because you are defective.
Right.
We are clear. What's he saying? We're better than you. Right. It couldn't be overall government policy, deindustrialization, because the people in charge are not industrialists, so they didn't give a fuck what would happen if they sent all the industry overseas. We decided to shift to the wired workers, of which, as they called it then, of which Silicon Valley is the product, and that's really who we're beholden to. We shifted our focus to an industry that is not located in the places where your constituents live. But he's gonna present this as a moral sin on their part. This is a very old American Protestant idea. If you're poor, it's your fault.
Exactly.
Policies.
I'm in New York. You're not subsidizing anything from me.
But your philosophy.
I'm getting the hell out of New York, though. Mississippi, Alabama, I'm all for it over New York or California.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I love Mississippi.
This is what I mean. Now, this guy is just such a tool bag. Yeah, Sean Hannity is going to move to Mississippi. Sean, if you move to Mississippi and you establish that you live full-time in Biloxi, give me your address. I will cut my dick off and mail it to you. That's how confident I am that you will never move to Mississippi.
He would move to Florida or Texas, though.
Florida. He's not moving to Mississippi or Alabama.
Sure. Oh,
He'd move to Florida. That's the thing to do for these guys now. Florida, Texas. Yeah. I'd take Mississippi over New York any day. So, yeah, I mean, look, in his case, look, Hannity is not a formidable adversary in the way that a Tucker Carlson would be. So he can get away with making those points there and not get decimated to the point where he felt it was a good idea to actually clip that and post on social media. But the idea that that's a good look, that bragging about the wealth disparity between coastal blue areas and middle American and southern red areas, to think you come off well in that is quite extraordinary. And I think, Russell was talking about if you had a DeSantis versus Newsom race somehow, that DeSantis would crush him, that lends some credence to your theory, because that argument there is the opposite of the kind of argument you should be making if you want to appeal to the 30% taker states that you call red states or red counties.
Well, that clip alone, they would beat the hell out of him. But I've said this from the beginning. Gavin Newsom is the governor of California. California. I mean, California is as much a failed state as any blue state is. What's he going to run on? People getting stabbed on Market Street? Like, what is he going to run on? The Skid Row in LA? What would he run on? Yeah, I get he's got a whole West Wing thing going on. That only appeals to like the hardest core libs. And that's who that's for. He knows his audience. Like you said, that kind of shit, you see libs say things like that all the time on social media, because their politics, insofar as they have one, is a politics of hating people who are poor and uneducated, as long as they're white.
Well, the thing is, I mean, California is a failed state by our standards, in the sense that it is a neoliberal, highly unequal, woke capitalist hellhole. It's not a failed state on the balance sheet. They actually are running a surplus, which is the Clintonian model, right? All that matters is the balance sheet. That is neoliberalism at its core. And you smooth over the cruelty of that with all of the woke stuff. And that's Gavin Newsom in a nutshell.
Please clap.